The annual National Basketball Association (NBA) All-Star Game serves as a captivating basketball exhibition, gathering 24 of the league's standout players. Traditionally held every February, since 2022, it coincides with the third Sunday of the month, sharing the date with the Daytona 500 and occurring 1 week after the Super Bowl. This prestigious event takes center stage during the NBA All-Star Weekend, spanning 3 days from Friday to Sunday, and traces its origins back to the inaugural game at the Boston Garden on March 2, 1951. The composition of each squad's starting lineup involves a dynamic selection process combining fan, player, and media voting. Head coaches play a pivotal role in choosing the reserves, selecting 7 players from their respective conferences, thus forming a 12-man roster for each side. Notably, coaches are prohibited from voting for their own players. In the event of a selected player's inability to participate due to injury, the NBA commissioner steps in to designate a replacement. A significant shift in the All-Star Game format occurred from 2018 to 2023. Previously, the game featured teams representing the Eastern and Western divisions or conferences. However, during this period, the teams were determined by the leading vote-getter from each conference, and players were selected via draft, irrespective of their conference affiliation. Additionally, teams engage in charitable endeavors, aligning with a cause of their choice to contribute to the competitive spirit of the games. The selection of the head coach for each conference is based on the team with the best record. According to the Riley Rule, named after successful Los Angeles Lakers head coach Pat Riley, who led the Western Conference team 8 times in 9 seasons between 1982 and 1990, there is a prohibition against consecutive coaching appearances. If the coach of the top team in a conference has already led in the previous year, the coach of the team with the next best record assumes the All-Star Game coaching role. This rule ensures a fair and diverse representation of coaching talent in the prestigious event. History. The inception of the NBA All-Star Game germinated from a meeting among NBA President Maurice Podoloff, NBA Publicity Director Haskell Cohen, and Boston Celtics owner Walter Brown. This brainstorming session took place amidst the aftermath of the college basketball point-shaving scandal, which had rocked the basketball world. In an effort to rekindle public interest in the league, Cohen proposed the idea of hosting an exhibition game featuring the crème de la crème of the league's players, akin to Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. 6. Despite prevailing skepticism, including that of Podoloff, Brown maintained unwavering confidence in the concept. He not only offered to host the game but also pledged to cover all associated expenses or potential losses. 7. The inaugural All-Star Game unfolded at the Boston Garden on March 2, 1951, with the Eastern All-Stars triumphing over their Western counterparts with a score of 111-94. Ed Macauley of the Boston Celtics earned the distinction of being the first NBA All-Star Game Most Valuable Player, marking the event as a resounding success. The game drew an impressive attendance of 10,094, significantly surpassing the season's average of 3,500 spectators. 8. A historic moment occurred in 2010 when the NBA All-Star Game set a basketball attendance record with a staggering 108,713 attendees at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas. This landmark surpassed the previous record held at Ford Field on December 13, 2003. When 78,129 spectators witnessed the clash between Michigan State and Kentucky. 9. The narrative took a turn in 2017 when the NBA All-Star Weekend, originally slated for Charlotte, North Carolina, faced a relocation due to the controversial House Bill 2, widely known as the bathroom bill, perceived as discriminatory against transgender individuals. Following the state's inaction, the NBA decided to move the 2017 game to New Orleans. In March 2017, after certain provisions of the bill were partially repealed, Charlotte was awarded the 2019 All-Star Weekend. Significant changes were announced on October 3, 2017, as the NBA and NBPA revamped the game format starting in 2018. Departing from the traditional conference-based structure, the top vote leaders from each conference became team captains, conducting a draft to select starters and reserves without regard to conference affiliation. 5. However, on October 25, 2023, the NBA reverted to the conference-based format for the 2024 All-Star Game, discarding the untimed fourth quarter known as the Elam Ending. implemented since 2020. 10. Nevertheless, the charitable dimension endured, with the team amassing the most points in each quarter earning a cash prize directed to their chosen charity. Roster selection. The initial lineup for each conference encompasses 3 frontcourt players and 2 guards, a selection determined through a blend of fan, player, and media voting. In 2017, the NBA transitioned from an exclusive fan vote to a more nuanced system where fan voting carries a 50% weight, while player and media voting contribute 25% each. 12. Before 2013, fans specifically chose 2 forwards and 1 center, deviating from the current practice of selecting generic frontcourt players. 13. In 2003, the NBA expanded accessibility by providing all-star ballots in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Chinese, for fan voting purposes. 14. NBA coaches partake in the selection process for the reserves within their respective conferences, with the caveat that they cannot pick players from their own team. Each coach is tasked with choosing 2 guards, 3 frontcourt players, and 2 wild cards. The selected players are ranked in order of preference within each category. In the case of a multi-position player, coaches are urged to vote for the position that would be most advantageous for the all-star team, irrespective of the player's ballot listing or position in box scores. 15. If a player becomes unavailable due to injury, the NBA commissioner assumes the responsibility of naming a replacement for the roster. In the event that the replacement pertains to a fan-selected starter, the All-Star Game coach is empowered to designate the replacement's position in the starting lineup, without restriction to the commissioner's addition to the roster. 16. There exists the possibility of multiple all-star players being chosen from a single team, with the historical record standing at 4 players. This noteworthy occurrence has happened 9 times, first in 1962, when both the Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers had 4 players selected. The most recent instance of 4 all-star players from one team transpired during the 2018 game, featuring the Golden State Warriors. The game adheres to standard NBA rules, albeit with some distinctions. The starting all-stars, chosen by fans, players, and media, occasionally find themselves in unconventional positions. An illustrative example occurred in the 2007 game, where Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady, typically shooting guards, were selected as the starting Western Conference guards. Consequently, Bryant assumed the role of a point guard for the game. Gameplay typically features players attempting dazzling slam dunks, alley-oops, and a limited emphasis on defensive efforts, resulting in a final score considerably higher than a regular NBA game. In instances where the score is close, the competitiveness intensifies, particularly in the fourth quarter. In 2020, the NBA introduced the Elam Ending for the fourth quarter, turning off the game clock with 4 minutes remaining and setting a target score. Notably, in the same year, the NBA incorporated a tribute to Kobe Bryant, adding 24 points to the score at the end of the third quarter. For instance, with Team Giannis leading Team LeBron 133-124, the target score became 157 points, ultimately securing Team LeBron's victory. Player introductions are accompanied by elaborate fanfare, featuring lighting effects, dance music, DJ performances, portable stages, and pyrotechnics. Special uniforms are crafted annually, typically in red for the Western Conference and blue for the Eastern Conference. From 1997 to 2002, players had the option to wear their regular team uniforms. The host conference traditionally donned light uniforms, except from 2010 to 2014. Previously, players with the same jersey number could opt for a different numeral. For instance, Patrick Ewing, accustomed to number 33, temporarily wore number 3 early in his career due to a numerical conflict with Larry Bird. Since 1997, players retain their uniform numbers. The pre-game ritual includes a prominent recording artist performing "O Canada" and "The Star-Spangled Banner." Halftime extends beyond the typical duration of an NBA game, featuring musical performances by renowned artists. The inaugural halftime show took place in the 2000 game, with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Mary J. Blige, 98 Degrees, Montel Jordan, Martina McBride, and LL Cool J delivering memorable performances.